What's going on, Diablo 3 fans? Camel Schmo here. Just wanting to show you a video based on what I find to be a decent monk build. All my characters I really only have two of them left, which is the monk and the demon hunter, which I'll explain why in a minute. I have both of those. I mean, for obvious reasons, being dexterity based, I can kind of share equipments between them, but as you can see, I do quite the amount of damage based on the fact that I've gotten a really good Hellfire ring. Sorry this video is such a low quality, but if you can read that, it's got attack speed, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage, which is basically all you're going to want on all your items here. I also recommend using a socketed Sledge Fist, which I have an extra one for any of y'all that want to add me, and also a socketed Bone Saber. Basically making it to where I do a lot of attacks really fast. Same thing with like my Sage's Gestures, attack speed, crit hit chance, crit hit damage. Most of my equipment, like I said, has those options on there, if not only at least two of them. Have pretty decent gear as far as resistances too, but when I was explaining, what I want to explain now is like why I use my Demon Hunter 2 based on equipments. Like you see how these Crudus boots it says that it boosts up my health and my attack when you can see it literally drops my attack. Reason being is I use boots and I believe Natalia's Reflection Ring. Like two pieces basically is what you're going to want from Demon Hunter set, just so that you can have having two of them adds to your attack or crit hit chance. I'm sorry, it adds 7% critical hit chance, as you can read right there highlighted. And with the Demon Hunter 2, if you have just two of the Enos set from the monk, you can actually add 130 dexterity. To show you what I mean, you see 1128k damage. When I enter Breath of Heaven, I go up to 1298.7. That's based on, I'll explain that a little more in a minute. Kind of like why I use the Enchantress as my follower, because I've literally used the Scoundrel, but now with all my gear I don't need more of a crit hit chance. It actually helps to have her because she adds not only armor, but she also adds some attack speed as well. But let me get right into what I have set up. Let me let that cool down so I can kind of show you. Just give me 1 second on that. Let my Breath of Heaven cool off so I can cool down, so I can kind of show you the options and things that I use for that. Alright, so to put it simply, my base attack I use Fists of Thunder with the first Thunderclap Ruin that helps you teleport to enemies. Plus it does lightning damage, which is decent. I just like the teleportation of it, honestly. There's ones that generate more spirit per attack, and they might have further reach, but teleportation I find to be more effective. I also use Cyclone Strike. This is more or less in case there's enemies running away, or there's just a large mob you want to pull them all into you. That's fine too, because I use Stinging Winds. But the Ruin on this, I use Implosion based on the fact that it pulls them from 34 yards away as opposed to 24 yards away, so even further I can pull them in. I use the Breath of Heaven with the Ruin Blazing Wrath, which increases damage of all attacks by 15% for 45 seconds. Well, with a cooldown of 15 seconds, that means I can literally use it one time after another. If it cools down 15 seconds and it lasts 45 seconds, that means I can essentially use it 3 times before it would even cool down the first time, which is nice. Stinging Winds also, a lot of people use the Ruin that increases damage and things. I personally like to increase the duration to 20 seconds because it really only lasts 6 seconds, which means you're constantly reactivating it. It costs 75 spirit, so to me it's more worth using the Ruin that increases the duration of it. You can use that to basically attack enemies or barrels in the background to keep it active, which helps. I also use the Wave of Light Bell. Big old bell, who doesn't use that? I use the Empowered Wave Ruin with that though, so it reduced the cost to only 40 spirit. I believe I have 250 spirit, somewhere along those lines based on my passives and things. Basically, so I can use this attack at least 5 times before I run out of full spirit bar. For survivability reasons, I use the mantra of healing. Obviously, I could add more damage with different mantras and things like that, or dodge chance and everything. My dodge chance is about 70 or close to 70, so I really don't need much more dodge than what I have. I also like to use the rune for it that increases resistances by all types by 20%, which is pretty decent, pretty damn good, honestly. Like I said, personal build, I don't build it based on what other people use. For my passives, I use Exalted Soul. This increases the amount of spirit you have by 100, so instead of being 150, you have 100, which is just crucial for using those spirit absorbing moves. I mean, the regeneration of 1 per second isn't that crucial, but it helps out a little bit. I also use the Seize the Initiative passive as well. That increases my armor by 50% of my dexterity. Well, as you can see, my dexterity is 4845, so it would increase it roughly 24 something, 2400 something, based on that, especially with using the Enchantress, which also increases your amount of armor by 5% and slows them down for 3 seconds, I believe, or something like that. And of course, the most crucial passive to any monk build, One with Everything passive, the best passive I've seen in the game, honestly, as far as survivability. Your resistance to all elements is equal to your highest elemental resistance. So say for example, what do I have here? Okay, I know for a fact that my resistance, my highest single resistance is my arcane resistance. If I could find a better body armor, I would be able to show you that. Not only like this piece showing 56 arcane resistance, if I had 84 resistance on top of that, it would add about 140 resistance to all of it based on arcane resistance being my highest, and it adds anything that's equal out to all your highest resistance. I also use that healing mantra because I'll show you here why I use the Ruin to add 20% more resistances. See, 3.88 attacks per second, really high crit hit chance and damage. In fact, I've reached the cap of critical hit chance, which is 75, which is just ridiculous. Considering I'm almost doing 4 attacks per second anyways. But as you can see here, see all my resistances are now 776. That's really, really high. I could stand in Desecration and Plagued almost all day, honestly. And well, that's about it. That wraps everything up. But yeah, like I said, I use a mix of Demon Hunter and monk gear. Like I've even found this Andariel's Visage, I believe it's pronounced, headpiece. It's a good skull piece, or a good helmet. I mean, I see a lot of players using it, but if you ever find that people are using Mempo of Twilight and you had one, you'd know why. It adds crit hit chance, attack speed, life percentage, resist all, dexterity. That's what mine has. And I obviously use it Amethyst just to add 19% more life. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Vile Ward's obviously good for resist all. But anyways, hope you enjoy. Hope this build helps you out. If you like it, go ahead and add a like or a comment on here. Let me know what you think. If you find that my build isn't up to your standards, let me know, what works best for you, and I'll definitely look into trying that out too. But like I say, if you want to add me on Xbox Live, again, that's Camel, SHMO, Camel space SHMO, and hopefully I'll see you out on the battlefield.